Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm trying to make a different sort of Halo Infinite video. Now, I don't really make videos. I'm not a YouTuber or anything, but I thought, you know what, since I play this game and I do collect a lot of the cosmetics and the armors and the skins and whatnot, I was like, you know what, let me just do like a fun little a video where I do like a top 10, in my opinion, what currently the rarest armor coatings in the game. Because most of the time when you see Halo Infinite videos, it's going to be stuff that's talking, shit about the game, and it's just there's like 10,000 videos about what's wrong with this game. And don't get me wrong, I completely agree with mostly everything out there and the issues with this game. But at the same time, there's no reason for me to talk about that because, like I just said, there's like 10,000 videos on that and just sort of beating a dead horse at this point. So I decided, you know what, let me do something different. Let me, for the collectors out there that play this game, or maybe, people that don't play this game and want to see some of the cool armors that are in this game, or just like collecting things in general, and they're not aware of what's in this game. I was like, you know what? Let me just do like a cool top 10 rarest armor coatings in the game. I'll go over again, in my opinion, what is the rarest, going from 10 to 1, and then I'll also talk a little bit because I'm a nerd with this stuff. So you'll see, like, you're like, how the hell is a top 10 list like 30 to 40 minutes long? What the fuck is this video? But it's going to be me talking a little bit too about how to acquire the armor, or like how you did acquire the armor. Just talking about, the looks of it, what I like, what I dislike. So, sit back, relax, and if you find this interesting, then I appreciate it. For this video, I'm just going to do armors. But if, no one really knows, like I said, this channel is like, I just watch YouTube. I don't make videos. So the chances of people even seeing this are probably like 0% anyway. But if for some reason people do find this video and you enjoy it, um, maybe I'll make another video doing like, rarest weapon coatings, and another one that does, rarest vehicle coatings. I could do that as well. I'm not going to do everything in all in one video because it's going to be way too long. So for this video, I'm just going to do the armor coatings. Um, and you know what? A lot of people, I feel like if people do see this, I think the number one complaint, and I can already see it now, is like, oh, bro, why are you spending money on this game? Why are you spending all this money on armor skins? This game fucking blows, dude. Why are you giving 343 your money? I mean, believe me, I kind of understand that point. But hey, I enjoy this game. I'm hoping that it does get better. It has a very good, mostly everyone can agree, and I'm kind of getting a little bit off tangent now, but I just want to say that everyone pretty much agrees that it has a very good core. Like, the gameplay itself is solid. We just need more content. So I'm banking that 343 will deliver said content coming up in the next year or two, and the game will be in a much better state, a year from today or 2 years from today. I know that sucks after waiting like 6 years for the game, but the game is just so fun to play that I'm hoping that 343 does recover, and I'm just banking on that. So without further ado, that was such a long intro. I'm sorry about that. I'll tag the video too, um, so you can like kind of pinpoint where I do each armor. But I'll start obviously with number 10. So let me get into it. I got to go into the customization. This video is also going to be super scuffed because, like I said, I don't make videos, so I'm not a good editor. So this is going to be not edited and super scuffed. But let's get into it. So I will say that before I begin, most, or actually all of the armor is going to be attached to the Mark 7 armor core. And the reason for that is because most of, I would say like 75% of the top 10 are going to be coatings that were from old promotional marketing materials. Usually from a lot of them are from way back in 2020 before the game was delayed. So to go a little bit, cover that a little bit too for those that are not aware. This game was obviously supposed to launch in December of 2020, and because of that, they had a lot of marketing and promotional material during that time. So what happened was, once it got delayed for a year, a lot of that marketing, all of that marketing and all those promotions, it's not like 343 could have stopped them. I mean, they were already, signed, I'm sure they signed contracts and they had things shipped and everything was ready to go. So, DLC codes that were attached to those promotions from before the game was delayed, they couldn't just stop those and then say, okay, we're going to stop this and then let's do this a year from now. Now, everything was already written in stone. So, a lot of those 2020 promotions are now super rare and super collectible because they just didn't come back. And not a lot of people even knew that they existed in the first place. So you'll see eventually that when I go into the details of each armor coating, but everything basically, all the promotional coatings were attached to the Mark 7. So nothing was really tied to the Mark 5 or the Uri, which wasn't until the game launched. So every promotional coating was for the Mark 7. So I just want to say that straight away. So we'll finally actually get into the top 10 now. So in my opinion, of course, we'll start with number 10. And I believe the Deathly Poison armor coating is to round out at the number 10 spot. Now, I'll kind of explain how to acquire, if you can still acquire it, or how you did acquire it. So the reason why I have, this is a sick looking skin, by the way, and it's honestly my favorite skin in the game because my favorite color is green. So this is a super clean skin. But the reason I have this at number 10 is because, as far as I'm aware, this is still the only, out of all the skins in my top 10, this is the only skin that still has an active promotion going on with it, as far as I'm aware. So in order to get this skin, you have to buy a Razer headset that was Halo Infinite themed. I'm not 100% sure what the Razer headset is called. I believe it was like the wireless Kiara, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that 100%. All you have to do is look up Deathly Poison Razer armor coating, and it will tell you what exact headset you need. But I'm pretty sure it was that headset. And then obviously once you get the headset, there's a code inside the box. Like I said, as far as I'm aware, that promotion is still active, so you can still, today, March 31st, I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but you could still buy that headset and the code will come in the box. It's not cheap at all. The headset is like $170. So if you're buying it just for the coating, it's a very expensive coating. If you're in the market for a headset, it's a very good headset. So it's sort of like, killing two birds with one stone. You get a nice headset and this armor coating. If you don't want the headset, most of the most of the armor coatings that I'm going to be showing off are still available on eBay, people reselling the codes on eBay. So if you don't want the headset, you could still buy this armor coating on eBay. There's a bunch on there. I think they resell for about anywhere from like 150 to 200 bucks. So a little bit cheaper or a little bit more expensive than the actual purchase of the headset. So it's up to you if you want the headset or not. But the only reason I have this at number 10 is because it's the only armor coating on my top 10 that still has an active promotion. So that makes it not as rare, in my opinion, as the other ones. In terms of the actual coating, I'll talk a little bit about it. I mean, it's a sick looking coating. A lot of the coatings I love have the different color thigh piece that goes underneath the actual armor. So in this case, it's a lime green, and then the black armor overfits it. So it gives it a nice contrast. And then of course you have the midnight black undersuit as well. That is a deeper shade of black than the actual coating. So there's a lot of nice contrast. It's super clean looking. I'm a big fan of armor coatings that sort of detail different aspects of the armor. So in this case, for instance, I forgot exactly what knee pads these are, but they were in the store. But I love how it's custom coated, so it has like the green lines on the outsides too. Again, you have like the green glove here on the wrist, on the shoulder pieces here. Even on the inside of the shoulder piece, you could see like, it's tough to see with the lighting. See how that's just like, it's green right here too. And then the visor itself, this is the Firefall helmet, which is, in my opinion, the favorite helmet my favorite helmet in the game currently. It has like that green outline that goes around the visor, so I think that's super dope. Disregard the visor color, by the way. I'm not going to change the visor color for each armor skin. So just picture this with like a green visor. Um, it would look super dope, and it matches. It's super clean looking. So yeah, I mean, this is, even though this is number 10 on the most rare, I consider this probably one of my favorite armor coatings in the game, just because it's personal preference. My favorite color is green, so that's one of the reasons why. All right, so for number 9, in my opinion, the ninth rarest armor coating in the game is Wall Breacher. So for those that don't know, Wall Breacher was a Target promotion that began at the launch of the campaign back on December 8th, 2021, and it lasted, I think it lasted for about a month. In order to get it, you had to go to a participating Target store and purchase a certain Halo Infinite, I guess, toy or something like that. They gave you a list of what was available within the promotion. I think once you purchased it, they printed out a receipt for you at the store, and then you could have redeemed that on Halo Waypoint. So that lasted for about a month. That was a more recent promotion. That promotion is over, so you can't go to Target and get that code anymore. The only way to get this is on eBay. Um, I would say Wall Breacher is actually the cheapest armor coating currently that is on eBay. So that's why this is at number 9, only because it was a more recent promotion and it's pretty cheap on eBay. I believe the cheapest I've seen it go for is about 30 to 40 bucks. Um, and it depends. Like, honestly, 30 to 40 bucks is not, when I say cheap, I mean, you have to imagine I'm saying cheap in comparison to the other armor coatings that I'm going to show you that are going to absolutely skyrocket in prices. So in comparison, 30 bucks is like nothing compared to some of the later armors I'm going to show you guys. But I mean, 30 to 40 bucks is not super cheap either, for an armor coating. So a lot of these collectibles, it's sort of like how much disposable income you have, if you're willing to spend that money. I mean, 30 to 40 bucks, to a casual player is very expensive, considering when most of the armor skins in the store are only like 10, 20 bucks at most. So when I say cheap, I mean cheap in comparison to the later armor coatings that are going to be rare as I go down the list. Now for this armor too, just like Deathly Poison, I say most of the armors on this list are going to look pretty sick, which is why they're so sought after. But this is a very clean looking armor. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. I love the contrast here where it has like the royal blue thigh plating and then the armor on top. It even has like has creases here that show the blue that goes underneath the armor. So I love that effect that armor has. Has like the white undies, has some orange belt accents, even on the back too here. And then what I love about this armor is that it completely covers the shoulder pieces. So this is the, I forgot what this shoulder piece is called. It's like Vesda or something. It was in the shop. The reason why I like it is because it's like the biggest shoulder piece for the Mark 7. So in this case, for this armor, it completely changes the shoulder piece to blue. So it gives off a nice contrast of everything else sort of like grayish white. You got a little orange, and then you got the blue highlights on the outside. So that's why I kind of like this as well. And then just like the Deathly Poison, it also has the blue outline of the visor. So again, it's a very, very sleek looking armor coating. And I have this at number 9. All right, next up, we have number 8. The 8th, in my opinion, rarest armor coating currently in the game is called Redshift. Now, Redshift is an older promotion that was attached to GameStop, and I believe this was an older promotion all the way back in 2020, originally before the game got delayed. I'm not 100% sure how it was acquired through GameStop. Apparently, it was very unknown. So, as far as I'm aware, you had to actually go into a GameStop, and then there was a certain Halo product. There's a bunch of products, I guess, that were attached to this promo. If you bought that, just kind of like how the Target was, you bought it at the store and they printed out a receipt for you, and then the receipt had a redeemable code that you could do on Halo Waypoint. But again, this was a promotion that was back in 2020, so the reason why it's so expensive is that that's the reason why it's an older 2020 promotion. Again, though, Redshift is still, which I'm surprised, honestly, it's still widely available on eBay, and it's not that expensive. It's a little bit more expensive than Wall Breacher, so it's about twice the price. So the cheapest I've seen this go for on eBay is about, I think, 65 bucks. I've seen it go higher than that, but I have seen a few that go down to as low as 65. And again, I mean, 65 bucks was the price of the Halo Infinite campaign. You know, it's the price of a AAA game. So don't get me wrong when I say 65 bucks is a lot for an armor coating. But, you know, kind of it is what it is in terms of, I guess, supply and demand. But if you like red, this obviously is the armor coating for you. So I think it's a very sick looking armor coating. Again, the red thigh plating underneath the, you know, the midnight black armor that has the red creases here, the white undies. The red itself is just like a super blood red, like an eye-popping red. So you're gonna pop out when people play you. They'll notice this armor for sure. Again, love how the shoulder pieces are like custom painted here, where it's red and then it has like a little gray on the underside of it too, match, you know, sort of meshing well with the gray forearms and the gloves, kind of like the white bone effect here on the fingers, which looks pretty cool as well. But again, yeah, it's a very, very sleek looking armor piece. And obviously, if just like how green's my favorite color, if red was my favorite color instead, then this would obviously be my go-to armor in this game. And it matches perfectly. There's a red visor called Dragoon that just looks amazing. I guess I can quickly switch to it just to show you guys what I'm talking about. Oh, but then I have to go here. Shit, this is why I don't do this. I'll quickly show it off, see? So, I mean, that looks freaking amazing in my opinion. So, again, Redshift is number 8 on the top 10 rarest armor coatings currently in Halo Infinite. All right, so number 7 on the list for rarest coatings in the game is going to be Action Block. Now, this is going to probably surprise a lot of people that are into Halo Infinite and are also fellow collectors. A lot of people will probably think that this would be higher on the list. I only have it at number 7. You'll see why as I continue going on. Now, Action Block was, again, another older 2020 promotion that it was tied to a Mega Construct set. I believe the set was a Pelican. And Mega, if you don't know what Mega Constructs is, it's sort of like basically like a Lego type deal where you can build your own, you know, sets and figures and stuff like that. So this was tied to, I believe, a Pelican set, but it was only, the DLC code was only available in the first run of the set. So once they sold out, you know, once they made more sets, it didn't include the DLC code. So this was pretty rare, in my opinion, armor coating. However, the only reason why I don't have it higher on the list is because it's still widely available on eBay, and I've seen a lot of people actually run around with this recently. Just random people. I've seen streamers on Twitch run around with it. I've even seen a lot of pros use it recently. Not sure if they just bought it themselves or they get gifted. I don't know, but all I know is that this used to be much rarer, and I feel like a lot more people have it. I think as people realize, you know, they come across it and they're like, oh, this is dope, you know, how do I get it? And then they go ahead and acquire it. So I still consider it pretty rare, don't get me wrong. And it's a very, very expensive skin. So since you can't, obviously the promotion is long gone. So the only way to get it is on eBay. And for the most part, I believe the average price for this armor coating on eBay is probably going to run you around like 300 bucks. So yes, 300 bucks. And believe me guys, it's going to get more expensive than that. much more expensive. Stay tuned. But yeah, I mean, even though it's $300, it's still considered one of the rarer armor coatings in the game in terms of promotional material, and it's a very unique piece. Um, the only thing with this, it's very clean, so it depends if you like simpler looking armor. This is super simple because here, as you can see, the other ones had like a two-tone armor coating color setup here. This is just all black, and then it's all light blue, and that's basically how it is for the entire set piece, except for the legs and the wrists are also like a gray. I still think it looks super slick, very clean. It's very unique, and just like the Redshift, it really pops out when you're playing in the game, so people will know immediately that you are using Action Block because you really stand out, which could be a good or bad thing depending on how much you're trying. I set it up with this visor. There's a couple visors that work, but I like this one too because I feel like it matches the best for the armor coating itself. But it's a very sleek looking armor coating, and I have this at number 7 on the rarest. Okay, sorry, I had to find the other one. So the next one is going to be called number 6 on the list is Willow T. Now, this might surprise a few people, and you might not. There might be a lot of people that don't even know what this armor is. So this is the first armor coating on this top 10 that is not from a promotional marketing code or anything like that. This was actually, you were able to acquire this by playing the game. The only thing is that this was a very early Ultimate Weekly reward. This is the second week the game, the multiplayer launch. So that second week, not November 15th, that's when it originally launched, the week after. So around the end of November, there was an Ultimate Weekly reward, and it was called Willow T, which is this. And it was actually pretty tough to acquire, only because the last challenge was getting 5 kill streaks on Fiesta. So it was back then it was a lot tougher to complete the challenges. So if you think about it, that's why a lot of people didn't get it, because you had to get like 20 or 21 challenges out of the way, and then you hit the ultimate challenge, and then the ultimate challenge was getting 5 kill streaks, where you had to kill 5 people without dying in Fiesta. So you might think like, oh, that's not that bad. But Fiesta is a very chaotic game mode. So you can kill 3, 4 people in a row, and you're looking for that last person, and that last person might have rockets, or they might have sword grapple, and you get screwed. So I feel like a lot of people got frustrated with this challenge and either didn't complete it or they didn't have time to complete it. So and especially since it was only the second week, I feel maybe a lot of people dropped off at that point, or they didn't even attempt to get it. And the reason why I have this at number 6 is because this is the first armor coating, by the way, as well, where it's impossible to get right now. So the only way you're going to be able to get this possibly in the future is if 343 brings it back in the shop, or they bring it back for a return for an ultimate challenge. In my opinion, I don't think they're going to do either of those things. I really think this is going to be a one and done type of coating. If you see here, it says release season 1. So I don't think you're going to, unless, season 2 is in a month away from now, unless you see this come back as another Ultimate Weekly, which I don't think it's going to. It's going to stay a season 1 exclusive. So in my opinion, they're not going to be bringing this armor coating back. So if you have this, great. If you don't, sorry, you missed out. So that's why I have this as the number 6 rarest armor coating in the game currently. And it's a very dope looking armor. I wish the Ultimate Weeklies gave more stuff like this instead of like emblems, because then more people would probably play and actually try, instead of just getting like some lame ass armor emblem that no one's going to see. But I digress. Anyway, so for this one, it kind of almost has like I don't know why I think this, it has like almost like a Star Wars vibe, in my opinion. It's also the only, as far as I'm aware, the only armor coating that has like a different sort of texture or pattern for the undersuit. So if you could see like my cursor right now, there's like dots here, and then if you turn it around and it shines in the light, you'll notice even the shoulder pieces here, it almost has like a gray dotted camo going on with that. And as far as I'm aware, this is the only undersuit in the game that has like an additional texture or like pattern to it. And then the rest of the armor again is pretty dope. It has the gold accents, has the orange outline for the shoulders, also for the wrists, and it pairs up really well with any sort of like gold visor for your helmet. So it's a very sleek looking armor piece, and it's almost pretty much a flex because it shows that you were, you started out as an early adopter to this game, and you also completed that pretty tough weekly challenge for that second week the game came out. So I have Willow T as the 6th rarest coating in the game. Okay, for splitting down the halfway point at number 5, I have the HCS Launch armor coating, and I have this as the 5th rarest armor coating in the game. Again, the reason being I have this at number 5 is because, again, just like Willow T, it is now impossible to get. So in order to get this armor coating, you had to watch the very first Halo Infinite HCS LAN tournament that was in Raleigh back in December. So I believe the tournament was on December 17th through the 19th, so it was only for 3 days on that weekend, and you had to connect your Twitch account to your Halo Waypoint account, and I believe you had to watch an hour, and it wasn't the official. That's the thing too, a lot of people were confused at that time. They had an armor coating for this and they had weapon coatings for this. Weapon coatings, you had to watch the official Halo stream for I believe an hour, and you were able to acquire the weapon coatings. For the armor coating, you actually had to watch a separate stream that was not the official Halo stream. You had to watch, they had like sort of like affiliates for them. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I know 2 off the top of my head were people like Summit 1G and I believe Cloaksy was another. So they tried to get some popular streamers, and you had to watch them for an hour in order to get the armor coating. So I think a lot of people were confused, and they didn't, even though they announced it, I feel like a lot of people didn't realize that. So people got the weapon coatings watching the official Halo stream, but they didn't get the armor coatings, and that's why I feel like this is more rare than the weapon coatings, and it was only for that weekend back in December. So this is impossible to get now, and it's called HCS Launch. So just based on the actual name of the armor coating, it doesn't really make much sense for 343 to bring these back. So I feel like, this is a one and done type of deal. So I feel like this armor coating is, you're never going to see this come back in the shop or for another Twitch drop. I mean, it might, obviously I can't say for sure. It might show up maybe in a future Twitch drop, but in my opinion, I don't think it's going to. And it's a very sleek looking armor coating. It's like a very dark sage green, sort of like mimics Master Chief's armor coating. It has a nice shine to it with a midnight black undersuit, and it has like the gold accents on certain pieces of the armor. So it's a very sleek and very simple looking and very sleek looking armor coating. And that's why I have this at number 5 on the top 10 rarest armor coatings in Halo Infinite. All right, guys, so we're starting to get to some of the really rare shit. So this is going to be number 4. So this is the Platinum Anniversary armor coating. Now, at first glance, it actually looks a little bit similar to the HCS armor coating. The only difference is that it's a lighter shade of green. Once again, it's now impossible to get. In order to get this armor coating, you had to log into the game the very first week the multiplayer launched. So from November 15th to the November 23rd. If you did not play the game at that time, you did not get this armor coating. So it is impossible to get now. And in my opinion, because of that, I don't think it's ever going to come back as well. So that's why you had to be a really super early adopter to the multiplayer in order to acquire this armor coating, which is why I have it as high as number 4. Because I feel like as time goes on, as people join the game, obviously they're not going to be able to get this armor coating. And luckily for them, it's not like a super crazy looking armor coating. It's a very standard green. It's obviously supposed to mimic Master Chief's sage green armor coating. It's a very simple armor coating. You have the green and the midnight black undersuit, and that's pretty much it. So I still think it's a very simple and clean looking armor coating. It's not nothing amazing, but again, too, it's still a flex because it's a platinum anniversary. So, a year or two from now, there's going to be very, very little people that have this armor unless you were basically, Halo Infinite OG. So it's going to be a super flex as time goes on. So that's why I have this as number 4 on the list. All right, guys. So we are at the top 3. So before I begin, see what you guys can think. Like, what do you think is going to be number 3 on this list as I go to it? I think you might know what it is because it's on the screen currently, and I believe it's going to be Watchdog. Now, many people, you might think that Watchdog you would consider to be the rare skin in the game, but I'm going to tell you why it's not the rare skin in the game very shortly. For those that don't know, Watchdog was the only way to get the skin is you had to hit max rank in Halo 5, which was Spartan rank 152. Let me tell you guys, the grind for 152 was torturous. Oh my god. It was probably the hardest grind I've ever done in a video game, like ever. Dude, it was grueling. And to give you a perspective, there's 152 ranks. From going from 150 to 152, which is the last 2 ranks, requires the same amount of experience as you need to go from level 1 to level 149. So it's basically like redoing all that over again. I'm telling you guys, even with legendary XP boosts, this took months, and I can't even tell you how long it took. It was the craziest grind ever, and you can actually still get this, by the way. So a lot of people don't realize that. Originally, a lot of people thought that you can only acquire this before Halo Infinite came out, but I guess 343 changed their minds, and now apparently it's just if you can get 152 in Halo 5, there's no time period. So you could still get 152 in Halo 5 today, and you will be able to acquire this armor. I'm not sure if they're going to change that in the future, so if you're looking for this armor coating, I feel like now's the time, especially since Halo Infinite, if you're waiting for content to come for Season 2 or Season 3 for Halo Infinite, now's the time to go back and grind Halo 5 before a lot of shit happens with Halo Infinite. So, and who knows, maybe in the future, eventually 343 will, close, you can't get this. Or even if you can get it, as time goes on, Halo 5 is going to have less and less players. So, the way I got it was I played a ton of SWAT and a ton of Mythic Firefight. Those are pretty much the 2 most popular modes right now where you can find matches on a continual basis. But even so, it took so long to acquire this armor to go from 152. And if you have never played Halo 5, to go from 0, level 1 to level 152, it's going to take you it might take you longer than a year. It might take you years to be, depending on how much you play. Believe me, it is one of the toughest grinds I have ever done. And that's why I have it as the 3rd rarest coating in the game. Even though it's available to everyone to get, if you grind it, it's very tough to get. And there was some controversy too with the armor. So apparently the pre-release had the armor looking a little bit whiter, sort of like how the Sentinel's HCS armor coating looks. So I think there were complaints about it. So basically 343 just sort of like scuffed up the armor a little bit so it's not as white. I mean, it's still a very unique armor coating that you don't find anywhere else because most of it is like that metallic sort of like light gray with a black undersuit, and it has like the maroon red highlights on the chest piece, the neck over here, on the wrist, on the back a little bit. So, I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't look as good as the promotional pictures that 343 gave us. But even so, I still think it's a pretty clean looking armor coating, and it's probably one of the biggest flexes in the game as well. So if you see someone with this armor coating, and the weapon coatings and the nameplate and whatnot, I mean, that's just like a massive flex. Um, so yeah, this is why I consider this the third rarest armor coating in Halo Infinite. Now, for the next two armor coatings, I unfortunately do not have those. The next two armor coatings are the only armor coatings I do not have personally. So, unfortunately, I cannot show them off in game. But I have to be scuffed for a second and go to just like a website, and I'll show you pictures. So I do apologize for that. Okay, guys. So we are at number two. So for those that are unaware, number two is called the Monarch Armor Coating. And again, like I said just recently, I do not have this armor coating in the game, so I'm going to have to show you a scuffed screenshot instead. So for those that are unaware, Monarch was a promotion from Nabisco. And this was an older 2020 promotion before the game was delayed. Even back then, apparently from talking to a lot of people regarding this, it was super tough to find. Like, even if you were out looking in supermarkets or delis or whatnot, a lot of the Nabisco products didn't even have the Halo Infinite codes attached to them. So you had to find specially marked packages. And apparently, they were super tough to find. They weren't like even available in certain areas of the country, as far as I'm aware. So not many people got them, and there was 5 codes attached to them. So you had to buy. Obviously, there was like they were attached to like Oreos, Chips Ahoy. Um, what else were they attached to? I think there was like Sour Patch Kids and like all that different type of shit. Trident gum even. So you had to buy a bunch of them. And then inside the package there was a code you have to go on their specially marketed website, put in your email, the code inside the box, and then they would email you, I believe, a Halo Waypoint code. And there was 5 to collect. So Monarch was the first code they gave you. And then there was another armor coding at 3, and then 2, 4, and 5 were just like emblems and nameplates or whatnot, which is also super rare, but it's not for this video. So this was the first code they gave you, which is why it's number 2 on the list and not number 1. And I'll show you number 1 in a second. But yeah, it's called the Monarch Armor Coating. Honestly, um, I don't think I've seen any. I think I might have seen since playing since November. So in about 4 months, I think I've only seen one person wear this armor coating in the game. And it's not. It's a nice armor coating, but if you think about it, I have a comparison to the default purple armor in the game. So see if you could tell me quickly where you could spot the difference. So this is Monarch, and then this is the default Cadet Violet. I'm going to go back and forth. So as you can see, I think the only difference, I mean, the purple might be a slightly different shade of purple, might be a little bit different, but the biggest difference between Monarch and the Cadet Violet is the gold accents. So if you notice in Cadet Violet, everything is black. The chest pieces are black. The Spartan undies are black. All the wrist area, the shoulders are all black. And if you go to Monarch, all of that is gold. So this changes the gold, the neck piece here, the undies, some of the wrist accessories. I just tried, holy shit, I just tried spinning it like I was in game for like a 3D shot. Holy shit. But anyway, yeah, so it's not like a super like crazy looking armor. And honestly, a lot of people, even me, like I might have run into it in game, but I didn't even notice it was Monarch because it looks so similar to Cadet Violet that at first glance, especially if you're in the match, you probably don't even notice the difference, to be honest, unless you're showing like the intro screen where they do the introductions for the Spartans. Then you can probably see the gold. Otherwise, it's very tough to spot as you're playing the game. But hey, I mean, if you have this armor coating, congratulations, you have one of the rarest armor coatings in the game. And one of the reasons too that I forgot to mention why it was so rare is because back in 2020, obviously with COVID going on, a lot of people weren't going out to shop, so that's why these top 2 armor coatings that I'm going to show off are even rarer. Because I know for me personally, the reason why I didn't go searching for these, because at the time, I'm not going to risk getting COVID to go search for Halo Infinite armor skin that's attached to Oreos and Pringles and shit. I'm not going to get COVID to search for like Oreos. I'm not that stupid. So I feel like that's one of the other reasons, during peak COVID time, that's when this promotion was going on. So that's why it was tough. It wasn't around everywhere in the country. I mean, it was 2 years before the game launched. I mean, it was a whole, tornado of reasons why this is so freaking rare. So this is number two on the list. And if you know that if this is number two, then you're going to know what number one is. And that is the granular armor coating. Now, this is similar to Monarch. The only difference with granular is that this you had to do 3 codes in total for the Nabisco promotion before they gave you this coating. So that's one of the only reasons why this is number one and Monarch is number two, is because this took more. You had to buy more to get this one. And if you have this armor coating, congratulations, you have the rarest armor coating in Halo Infinite, and I freaking hate your guts, to be honest with you. Now, it's funny because a lot of people consider this also the ugliest armor coating in the game, and honestly, I don't really disagree with that. It also changed, like the like coatings that Nabisco showed completely changed how the armor looks today. I think this one looks better than the old one. Um, I don't know, guys. I feel like the reason why I like it is because it's just so much more unique than all the rest of the armor coatings. Like you'll instantly know when someone is wearing this in game. It's just like a bright yellow with a midnight black undersuit, and it has the multicolored accessories. So it has like the red knee pads, the blue gloves, the lime green wrists, and then the red shoulder pieces. And then you can combine that with like a cool red visor, green, blue, whatever you want to mix it with. Um, so I don't know. One of the reasons I like it is just because it's so out there. It's so unique compared to the rest of the armor coatings. And obviously, it's one of the biggest flexes in the game because I've only seen it again in about 4 months of playing. Someone wearing it in game. I think I've only seen 2 people that I played matches with have this armor coating in game, and it's just super recognizable. Now, talking about price wise, obviously the promotion is not available right now. So this used to sell on eBay back when the game launched. I believe the codes are going for about $500 to $1,000, which is absolutely insane. However, the most recent eBay listing for this armor coating, I checked it out. It sold for $3,200. 3,200 US dollars this armor coating sold for. And I think that was the last one in circulation in the entire world. Because since then I have not seen another listing for this armor coating. I think Monarch was a little bit less expensive. I think there was only one on eBay that lasted for about a month, and it was going for $1,000, and that finally sold. So ever since that initial December, January push, all the codes have just simply vanished. I think they've all been redeemed. So, I've been checking on a daily basis. If anyone watching this actually has a legit code for this, please message me because I will pay you handsomely for these armor coatings. Only because these are the only 2 armor coatings in the game that I currently do not have. So I'm a little salty about that. I never got my hands on these. So if you do have a legit code, please message me. But yeah, I mean, this is the rarest armor coating in Halo Infinite. And in my opinion, I don't think these are coming back. There was some speculation that, um, based on like a Nabisco promotion, saying that there was like a 3-month exclusivity period, but I mean, I don't think these are coming back, guys. I mean, I'm not holding out any hope. But, who knows? Maybe in season 2, they might bring it back, but I heavily doubt it. So I don't think any of the promotional stuff is going to come back, which is why this list is so rare and why these armor coatings are so rare. So, unfortunately, I think it was just one of those one and done type things. And if you have it, great. Otherwise, I think everyone else is screwed. So yeah, this granular is the number one, without question. This is the number one rarest armor coating in Halo Infinite. All right, guys. Well, that was the top 10. I know that was a long ass video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed me just kind of going over my personal opinion on what the rarest coatings are. Detailing, different colors, what visors look good, how to get them, my opinion on them. So, if you enjoyed it, feel free to give me a like. And, again, in the comments below, like if you think there's, some like another coating that I missed out on, or you disagree with my list, definitely let me know what you consider is the rarest armor coating in the game, or even your favorite armor coating. Doesn't really matter. And then, if a lot of people do see this and they like it, like I just said before, like I'll do a weapon coating video, maybe even a vehicle coating video. So I want to just do armor first, just kind of get it out of the way and just like test the waters and see if people actually find the video and if they enjoy it. So that's it for me, guys. I appreciate if you did watch it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, man.